Have you ever wondered about the person who mapped more of the planet than anyone in history? Today, we're diving into the incredible life of Captain James Cook, a man whose voyages fundamentally changed our understanding of the world. From humble beginnings to becoming one of the most celebrated explorers ever, his story is one of relentless curiosity and groundbreaking discovery. James Cook was born in 1728 in a small village in Yorkshire, England. He wasn't born into wealth or privilege. His father was a farm labourer, and young James's future seemed set for a similar path. He received some basic schooling, which was more than many kids got at the time, and then started working on a farm. But the sea was calling. At around 17, he moved to the coastal town of Whitby, and got his first taste of life on the water, working as a merchant navy apprentice on coal-carrying ships called colliers. This was no glamorous start. Life on these ships was tough, navigating the rough North Sea, but it was here that Cook honed the skills that would define his future. He became an expert in seamanship, navigation, and perhaps most importantly, cartography, the art of map-making. He was a quick learner, devouring books on algebra, geometry, and astronomy in his spare time. He wasn't just sailing, he was studying the science of it. After nearly a decade in the merchant navy, he was offered his own ship. But Cook had bigger ambitions. In 1755, at the age of 26, he made a surprising decision. He enlisted in the Royal Navy as a common seaman. This might seem like a step backward, but Cook knew it was the best way to advance his career and pursue his passion for exploration. His talent didn't go unnoticed for long. During the 7 Years' War with France, Cook's exceptional skills in surveying and mapping were put to the test in North America. He played a crucial role in charting the tricky waters of the St. Lawrence River, which helped the British forces capture Quebec. His maps were so accurate and detailed that they were used for decades. This work earned him a reputation as a brilliant cartographer and navigator. After the war, his reputation continued to grow. He was given command of his own ship, the HMS Grenville, and spent several years meticulously charting the rugged coastline of Newfoundland. The charts he produced were a masterpiece of precision, cementing his status as one of the best in the business. It was this expertise that brought him to the attention of the Royal Society, one of the most prestigious scientific bodies in the world. And they had a very special mission in mind. In the 18th century, there was a major scientific event on the horizon, the 1769 transit of Venus. This is when the planet Venus passes directly between the Sun and Earth, appearing as a small black dot crossing the Sun's face. By observing this event from different locations around the globe, astronomers believed they could calculate the distance from the Earth to the Sun, a fundamental piece of information they were desperate to figure out. The Royal Society needed a skilled commander and a sturdy ship to sail to the newly discovered island of Tahiti in the South Pacific, one of the best places in the world to view the transit. The man they chose for the job was James Cook. So in 1768, Lieutenant James Cook set sail from England on his first great voyage of discovery. His ship was the HMS Endeavour, a refitted coal carrier, not unlike the ships he'd learned on as a boy. It was chosen for its flat bottom and sturdy build, perfect for exploring unknown coastal waters. On board was a team of scientists, including the wealthy young botanist Joseph Banks, ready to document every new plant and animal they encountered. After a long journey around Cape Horn, they reached Tahiti in April 1769. They successfully observed the transit of Venus, fulfilling the primary scientific goal of the mission, but Cook had secret orders. Once the astronomical work was done, he was to open a sealed packet from the Admiralty. These orders instructed him to search for the legendary Great Southern Continent, known as Terra Australis Incognita. For centuries, geographers had believed a massive landmass must exist in the southern hemisphere to balance the continents of the north. Cook was tasked with finding it. Sailing south from Tahiti, he searched for the continent but found nothing. He then turned west and became the first European to circumnavigate and chart the entire coastline of New Zealand. His maps of New Zealand's 2 main islands were astonishingly accurate, a testament to his methodical and painstaking survey work. From there, he sailed further west and made the first documented European landing on the eastern coast of Australia. He charted this new coastline for thousands of miles, naming prominent features like Botany Bay, so called because of the vast number of new plant species collected there by Banks and his team. The voyage was perilous. At one point, the Endeavour struck the Great Barrier Reef and was severely damaged. For hours, the crew worked desperately to keep the ship from sinking. With incredible skill and leadership, Cook managed to beach the ship for repairs, saving the expedition from disaster. After navigating the treacherous Torres Strait, proving Australia and New Guinea were separate landmasses, he finally sailed for home, arriving back in England in 1771. Cook returned a hero. He had been away for nearly 3 years, circumnavigated the globe, charted vast new territories, and brought his crew and a treasure trove of scientific knowledge back with him. But the question of the great southern continent remained. The Royal Society was eager to send him back to settle the matter once and for all. So, just a year later, in 1772, Captain Cook set off on his second voyage. This time with 2 ships, the Resolution and the Adventure. This journey was even more ambitious. His mission was to sail as far south as possible to definitively prove or disprove the existence of Terra Australis. Pushing the boundaries of exploration further than ever before, Cook became the first person to cross the Antarctic Circle. His ships sailed through freezing seas, dodging massive icebergs in a world of biting winds and perpetual twilight. He circumnavigated Antarctica, sometimes getting within 75 miles of the coast, but the impenetrable wall of ice prevented him from ever seeing the landmass itself. However, he correctly concluded that if a continent did exist there, it must be a frozen, uninhabitable wasteland. He had effectively erased the mythical paradise, like southern continent, from the map. During this 3-year voyage, he also visited and mapped numerous Pacific islands, including Easter Island, the Marquesas, and New Caledonia, making peaceful contact with many local populations. His meticulous attention to the health of his crew was revolutionary. By enforcing a strict diet that included sauerkraut, a form of fermented cabbage, rich in vitamin C, he virtually eliminated scurvy, a disease that had plagued long-distance voyages for centuries. When Cook returned to England in 1775, he was promoted to post-captain and celebrated as the greatest explorer of his age. He had sailed tens of thousands of miles, charted unknown lands, and solved one of the biggest geographical mysteries of the time. You might think he would have been ready for a quiet retirement, but there was one last great puzzle of global geography left to solve: the Northwest Passage. For centuries, explorers had searched for a navigable sea route that connected the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through the Arctic, which would be a huge shortcut for trade. In 1776, Cook embarked on his third and final voyage, again in command of the HMS Resolution. Accompanied by the HMS Discovery, his goal was to approach the passage from the Pacific side, sailing up the west coast of North America. On his way across the Pacific, he came across a group of islands that were unknown to the European world. He named them the Sandwich Islands, in honor of his patron, the Earl of Sandwich. Today, we know them as the Hawaiian Islands. He was the first European to make formal contact with the Hawaiian people, and the initial interactions were peaceful and fascinating for both sides. From Hawaii, Cook sailed northeast to the coast of North America, charting the coastline all the way from modern-day Oregon, up through British Columbia, and into Alaska. He sailed through the Bering Strait into the Arctic Ocean, but was ultimately blocked by a solid wall of ice. He had proven that the Northwest Passage was not a practical, easily navigable route, at least not at that latitude. Forced to turn back by the advancing winter, Cook decided to return to the Hawaiian Islands to wait for better weather before making another attempt. He anchored in Kealakekua Bay on the Big Island of Hawaii. At first, relations with the islanders were friendly, as they had been on his first visit. However, as the weeks wore on, tensions began to rise. The presence of the ships and their large crews put a strain on local resources. After a month, Cook's ships left the bay, but they soon ran into a storm that damaged the Resolution's mast, forcing them to return to Kealakekua Bay for repairs. This time, the atmosphere was different. The relationship soured, leading to a series of disputes. One morning, one of the ship's small cutter boats was taken. In an attempt to get it back, Cook went ashore with a small party of Marines to take the local king hostage, a tactic he had used elsewhere. But this time, things went tragically wrong. A large and angry crowd gathered, a confrontation ensued, and in the chaos, James Cook was killed on the beach on February 14, 1779. The death of Captain Cook was a shocking end to an extraordinary life. His legacy, however, is immense. He was more than just a sailor. He was a scientist, a cartographer, and a leader. His voyages produced maps of the Pacific so accurate that they were used well into the 20th century. The vast amount of scientific data and specimens collected by him and his teams revolutionized European understanding of botany, zoology, and anthropology. James Cook's 3 incredible voyages redrew the map of the world. He charted the coasts of New Zealand and eastern Australia, circumnavigated Antarctica, and connected the dots across the vast Pacific Ocean. He was a master of his craft, a man driven by a quest for knowledge, who sailed further than any man before him and left an indelible mark on the history of exploration. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the life of Captain James Cook. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about history's greatest explorers, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.